I was downtown on Tuesday, and I got on the subway. I sat in my seat. I was in a good mood. Until a few young folks started acting obnoxious, playing music, talking loudly, and just being rude. So, the next subway stop, I walked out of that first car, and I boarded the second car. And I thought I was set. And that's when I noticed that that car had a really bad smell. Part urine, part vomit, and 3 parts regret. So I got off the second car, and I boarded the third car with no noise or odors to ruin my fun. And that's when I noticed that that car was filled with nothing but guys, but they all had man buns. So I got off the third car and onto a fourth car where a guy turned to me and said, "I like ham." So I got off the fourth car and onto a fifth car. There was one seat left, blocked by this elderly gal, and I said, "Ma'am, would you mind if I were to move in right there?" And she simply lifted her head and said, "Eh." So I got off the fifth car and onto a sixth car, and I hoped that this time I would feel well at ease. And it started quite normal until a gentleman in the back stood up and said, "May I have your attention, please? I'm not a proud man, and I don't mean to beg. And I know that right now, things are tough everywhere. But I have 3 kids, and I can't get a job. So would any of you have some money to spare?" And his story, for whatever reason, it touched me. And I pulled out my wallet, and I gave him a 5. And he sat next to me and said, "Thank you, my son. I'm doing right now all I can to survive." He held back his tears. He said I had a good heart. His gratitude towards me could not be disguised. He said, "Thank you, my son. And since I have you here, can I tell you about a man they call Jesus Christ?" So I got off the sixth car and onto a seventh car, where a girl in a stroller smiled up at me, and I waved to the girl, and she waved right back and said, "Mommy, look, this man is ugly." So I got off the seventh car and onto an eighth car, and to my surprise, there was no one at all. No young folks, no old folks, no noise, no odors, no feelings of panic or havoc or gall. And I danced all the way down the length of the car, and I said with a loud voice, "I gotta be me." And I laughed and I laughed and I twirled and I whirled, and I never imagined I'd be feeling so free. I found my own Eden, my paradise on earth, a place where I'd never be wearing a frown, where the pains of society just don't affect me. And I said, "Take that, world, you're not bringing me down." And that's when I noticed some time had gone by, and I said to myself, "We're not stopping a lot." And that's when I realized that I'd gotten on the purple line, and I was headed for Howard, whether I liked it or not. So I sat and I thought that the moral, it's really not a moral, but if there was, it'd be this: to pay close attention to where you are going, because if you don't, there's a lot you could miss. And sometimes it's good to change where you're sitting, but there's really no need to get off every car. I mean, I could be more accepting and less of a dick and accept people and things, but the way that they are. And just as I thought that, the subway door opened, and in walked a guy with a face that I knew. He sat next to me and said, "I like ham." And I smiled and I said, like ham too. We both smiled because I like ham too. Hey.